Every website is trying to sell you something, and the best way to sell and connect with your audience is by using storytelling. So on today's video, I'm going to show you 3 different websites, amazing websites. Each of them is tackling storytelling in a completely different way. It's going to inspire you and help you learn how to do better web design. Let's rock and roll. Hey design friends, what is up? My name is Ron Segal, and if it's your first time here on Flux, welcome. This is the best place to learn about how to become a designer and make a living as a designer. Today, I want to talk about storytelling in web design, and I want to do this by using 3 examples of amazing websites. So let's dive into the first one. The first one is called How to Talk to White Kids About Racism. First of all, I think this is really a challenging topic to talk to, important one, and I think it's a really interesting design challenge. So the way they try to tackle this issue is by creating kind of like a kid's book, and the experience of going through this website is actually by flipping through a book. So first of all, this is kind of like an interactive experience, right? You can move them along, and not only is it feels like kind of like a 3D, it also has this parallax thing, which is really like a reminder of the flip books with the paper things that go in the middle. So it really looks like a 3D thing. Now, why I think this is brilliant, first of all, we all know these books either from our children or when we are reading, books to our kids. So we're really familiar with the experience. It triggers this kind of an emotional thing for us. Illustration are obviously beautiful, but what I really, really like here is the way that they did this 3D effect. It's actually like a fake 3D effect, and it's actually just like transitioning the elements and making them look as if they're flipping. But I think it's very easy to do this just with CSS or something like this. So technically, it's not that difficult. I think the result is really both amazing, it's like interactive, it's playful, and it's really, really an impactful and emotional way to tell this story and tackle this issue, right? So this issue can be complex, can be triggering, can be, doesn't feel really well to talk about, it's not really nice to talk about racism and all that stuff, or at least it doesn't feel, it's whatever, you know what I'm talking about. It's a painful topic to discuss, and they've made this really friendly by using the format of storytelling. You're going through this, it's playful, it's nice, great web design, great illustration. So I really, really like this way of storytelling. Now, the second thing that we have here is called Flowers for Society. This is, I think if I understand correctly, it's kind of like an NFT project for people who like Snickers and stuff like that. And the way that they've used this, so when you're scrolling here, you have these little dots that from afar, they actually look like flowers, but then you're diving really into them, and you're kind of going into like a space of things, and you're scrolling through here. Now, I'm currently unmuted, but there is kind of like a sound that reads this thing to you, like Flowers for Society is a gesture for the people and the culture. And when you're moving through this kind of like fields of flowers, it tells you this story of what they stand for, what they're trying to do with this project. Also, it kind of reacts to your mouse, so it feels like 3D space. So this is a really interesting way of telling a story, right? You're going through, you feel like here that you're flying through space, and while you're doing it, you're being told a story, right? Slide after slide. You can think about this at the end of the day, it might look like a PowerPoint presentation, right? Because there's slide, a little bit of text in the middle, and then you're moving into the next slide, but it feels like a story. It feels like something like, I don't know, the beginning of, Star Wars or something like this, where you're flying through space and, the titles are coming. So this is another variation of this. Also, I just feel like this way to illustrate the flowers with all of these dots and stuff like this is really, really beautiful. Eventually, you're getting into, just like talking about Snickers, which I don't really know how this relates, but I really really like the way to, before you're getting down into, hey, we're doing shoes or we're doing this, you're going through a storytelling experience to understand what this brand is all about and sharing their vision and their mission in a really, really interesting way. So again, what you learn here is that by just scrolling, you present a story kind of like slide by slide and get people familiar with your mission. Now, the last thing that we have here is a brand called Just Eggs, and these are eggs made from plants. Now, what I really like about this website is just super, super simple, and it proves that you don't really need anything besides good photography, a good font, and then you're just sliding through this, and they're talking about their eggs. Now, this looks very, very simple. The actual story where I think this is really interesting is where you go to learn, right? So what is this? Eggs made from plant. I don't know, sounds disgusting, sounds nice, sounds tasty, I don't know. But you want to learn about this. And the way that they are teaching you about this, they tell you the story in a really beautiful way. So you're getting through this, again, very, very simplified. If you learn, this is also kind of like the PowerPoint slideshow mentality where you have a nice image, just a very, very short text, and you're reading through this. So how do we make eggs from plant? And then you're going through slide by slide. It's like you're seeing a video in the background, but every time you have a little bit of text information. So you're reading the story as you're scrolling, and then they're telling you, how they're making it from the eggs. And so far, they found the right plant for it. They researched everything. They found this bean, 4,000 things, mung bean. So you're seeing two things here. There's like a video going back in the background telling you the story, and it's being accompanied by some text, right? And really interesting thing here, you're scrolling, so they use less water, right, to grow this thing. So note as you're scrolling down, you're saying, no, so much, like how much less water is it? And you're scrolling. So you are being part of the story, right, by scrolling, and you increase the number until you get to like 98. Wow, this is crazy, like 98 less water. And then you're getting to this, like, oh, it needs less land. And now it's the same thing, but look how beautiful this is. I think it's using something like Fibonacci, where half of the screen is being blocked, and then half of this is being blocked, and then half of this is being blocked. So they're using kind of like a very classic design principles with the rule of sevens, or Fibonacci or whatever, just to show you how it's being smaller and smaller and smaller. So this is, again, and you're getting to a really crazy number here. So by using these effects, right, when you're seeing the number, and you're literally feeling, the difference in, oh my God, like look how much, land we used before, and now we're only using this type of land. They involve you emotionally in the story. So now you really feel how important their mission is. Oh my God, I have to eat these eggs because they're doing so much good. They're using so much less water. And these are not just, if you would just see the numbers, it would not be as emotional if you have not been scrolling through this, and you feel like by scrolling you're literally kind of like squishing out the land, right? And so this becomes a very, very emotional experience, and I love this. Every time I think this happens again here with the CO2, every time designers get the chance to really involve people emotionally and physically in the story that they're telling, then I think they're doing amazing work, especially in causes like this where, obviously they're trying to do good in the world. And so well done. I think these are 3 examples of how you can tell a story to sell what you are doing in your website, and by involving the people going through the web experience in an emotional way, your website and your sales for whatever it is that you're selling on your website is going to be more successful. If you want to learn more about web design, make sure you check the links in the description below, and I will see you on our next video. Peace out.